Good morning, y'all. It truly is morning. You can tell because my voice is extra deep right now. But yeah, I wanted to come on here. I decided this morning I needed a little bit of time to relax and crochet. It's been a very busy week for me in a lot of ways. I started a new part-time job, and so I'm getting used to that, as well as just kind of recovering from some busyness preparing for the artists. First Friday featured artist gig that I did this last weekend. Um, yeah, so it's been busy. I needed a little bit of time to crochet and enjoy, and I'm rambling right now, and that's okay because I'm going to edit this out. It is all right. So I wanted to share with y'all a little bit of my process this morning because I think not everybody always gets to see the process. I know there are videos out there of people crocheting or talking through things as they work, which is great. But one of the things I wanted to mention is that sometimes we make mistakes. I think we all know that. If we don't, guess what? We all make mistakes. And if you know that and you beat yourself up over it, please don't. Mistakes happen. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. Um, but I'll stop waxing philosophical and instead share kind of what I wanted to share. So I am currently working on the Númenna shawl. I think that's how it's pronounced, from someone online. I had looked up the name, and then I will find. I don't know that this is gonna work because I've got. The video is gonna break up the crochet. Oh well, whatever. It doesn't matter for the moment. What will really matter is when I actually turn it over and show you what I've been working on and the mistakes I made. But also, literally in the vein of making mistakes, maybe I just leave this as it is so that you can see that even filming is not perfect. That's all right. I'm definitely rambling at this point. We'll see what we keep and what we don't. I might start over. Or maybe we'll have a bloopers reel. Maybe we'll do bloopers. Okay, so yeah. So anyways, I'm working on the Númenna shawl from someone on Ravelry, and I will find her name later and put it in the description. Because it's a really cool shawl. Like I like the way it looks in the end. But this is my first time doing this pattern, and there's a lot of repeats. And you would think it would just be the same, kind of the same thing, same sort of pattern of repeat over and over again, but it's not quite. There are definitely little changes. And so this morning when I sat down to crochet, actually it was last night, I had sat down to crochet a little bit and realized that the last two repeats I had done, I had made a mistake. And where I'm supposed to be putting 2 single crochets into these chain spaces, I was actually putting 3, so I was doing an extra one. So I had ended up with a row with, oh my gosh, way too many single crochets, and then I had done another row on top of that of all double crochets. And so when I got to the end of that row and counted how many I was supposed to have, I had way too many. So I pulled it all out last night, and then this morning I looked at the pattern and figured out exactly what I was supposed to be doing and started again. So yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about crochet, right, is that you can pull stuff out really easily. However, there are other times where even if you can pull it out very easily, you don't necessarily want to. I pulled out probably an hour's worth of work when I pulled out what I pulled out last night. But what I also discovered as I was looking at the pattern and thinking it and just like looking more closely at it, I realized that I had made another pretty major mistake, but not so major that it completely compromises the entire shawl. So I'll explain what's going on here. Actually, I'm almost done with this row, so let's get there. Okay. Now that I'm at the end of my row. Oh, cool trick that I recently learned. Y'all probably already know this. Maybe. But when you're crocheting and you don't want your stitches to unravel, put a stitch marker through your final stitch. And so when you pull it, guess what? It's not going to ever unravel. Wish I had learned that a long time ago. The number of times I've had things unravel on me. Anyway, so I wanted to show you the other big mistake that I made working on this. So you will, I wonder if anybody can see it yet. I think those who have really, like, anyway, I don't know. Some people will see it. Some people won't. It's pretty subtle, but, so for the first bit of this, it had me doing 2 rows of double crochet between each of these cool picot shells. Again, another 2 rows. And then at one point, when I was looking at the numbers, I thought it was telling me to do 3 rows of double crochet. And I thought, that is quite odd that it's increasing it from 2 rows to 3 rows. But maybe it's a matter of like, right, the pattern is expanding. Eventually it'll be 4 rows and 5 rows. No, that was not right. I looked back today. So when it tells you the number at the end of each row, it tells you the number of stitches that you need. But there's also a lot of the pattern. It says, go back and repeat row 20, go back and repeat row, whatever. So it was saying, go back and repeat row, whatever. And it had this, but it had the same number of stitches, and it didn't, like, some of them will break it down between like the types of stitches, but these ones just said stitches. Well, the difference is, so like the row I just completed, these are all single crochets, and then all the double crochets go into the single crochets, right? So, and so there is a row where I have the same number of single crochets and the same number of double crochets. But when I looked at that, I thought it was, I had 2 rows of the same number of double crochets and then an increased row of double crochets. And so long story short, I was looking at the wrong rows, I was looking at the wrong things on the pattern, and so I thought I needed a 3rd row of double crochets for these in between double crochet parts. Now, do I want to go back and pull out all the way to here? All of this. All of this. Not really. I'm doing this as a piece for an auction to fundraise money. I'm not, sure, I want it to be very nice, but honestly, I think to your untrained eye and to your person who's not super looking at the detail, I don't know if anyone's gonna notice it. And this is fingering weight yarn. I'm almost to the end of my first ball. And I've actually balled it up from cake since I'm so close to the end. But this is fingering weight yarn. And I don't want to do it. Like, this is, I don't know. This is probably a good 5 hours worth of work for me. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But it just doesn't seem worth it So I think it's time, and it's not, it's a mistake that's not changing my row count so badly, because right, I was doing the same number of stitches as the previous row. I didn't do any increasing on the rows where I made the mistake, so I have the correct stitch count, which is necessary in this one in order to have these picots fall at the right ends, at the start and finish. So yeah, I'm not going to end up fixing this. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to share that, like, right, like, we all make mistakes when we are working or crocheting, and we all have to pick and choose when we decide to correct those mistakes or not. I don't know. I am rambling at this point. I will edit this down quite a bit, hopefully. But I love y'all. Keep crafting. Don't let the mistakes like that stop you or frustrate you. Certainly, you can put it in timeout for a while if you need to, but also sometimes you just keep going, and it is okay. And it all turns out better than you expected. So someone is going to end up loving the shawl at the end of the day, and I'm not going to have to look at it because it's not mine. So, or it won't be mine. So the mistakes that are there aren't going to bother me constantly because I'm not going to be seeing it every time I put it on or something like that. There are times where it is worth, there are times where it's worth taking out the literally hours and hours of work in order to get it to look like you want it to look, because you're going to be wearing that piece and you don't want to be reminded of it every single time you wear it. Because, if you see that every time you wear it, it's going to, why put yourself through that torture? Take the extra 5 hours or however long it takes to fix it. But other times, if it's not impacting the pattern, if it's not going to be noticeable to the common eye and you're not going to be looking at it every day, let it be. Just let it be. All right. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling now. I love y'all. And happy yarning.